When 60-year-old Michael Jordan walked into a kid's gym, an arrogant coach named Tank saw his chance for fame. "You're too old." Tank dared Jordan to play 5 young athletes. "Prove you're still great." The crowd went silent. Kids looked scared. Jordan picked up a basketball and dribbled twice. Those simple bounces made 200 people hold their breath. What happened next shocked everyone and changed one little girl's life forever. But Jordan was hiding a painful secret about his failing body. And his real reason for saying yes wasn't about basketball at all. Why would the greatest player ever accept a challenge he couldn't possibly win? And what was slowly destroying his body with every painful step? The new basketball bounced off the shiny gym floor with a sharp echo. 8-year-old Maya Rodriguez dribbled it 3 times, just like her grandpa taught her. The ball felt heavy in her small hands, but she loved the sound it made. "Girls don't play basketball," shouted Tommy Chin from across the court. "Go play with dolls." Maya's cheeks burned red, but she kept dribbling. Her grandfather always said, "Mija, don't let anyone tell you what you can't do." The Riverside Community Center was brand new. It still smelled like fresh paint and rubber mats. Coach Marcus Wellington, everyone called him Tank, blew his whistle hard. The sound hurt Maya's ears. "Listen up, kids." Tank's voice boomed across the gym. "Today we're going to learn what real basketball looks like. Not the soft stuff you see on TV. I'm talking about tough, old-school basketball." Tank was a big man with thick arms and a loud voice. He wore a Chicago Bulls jersey that was too tight. Maya had heard her mom talking to other parents about him. They said Tank used to play college basketball, but never made it to the NBA. Now, he ran youth camps and always talked about how basketball was better back in his day. "These NBA players today are weak," Tank continued, bouncing a ball hard against the wall. "They can't handle real defense. They cry when someone bumps them. Back when I played, we knew how to be tough." Maya looked around the gym. About 50 kids sat on the bleachers, listening. Some looked bored. Others seemed scared of Tank's loud voice. Her best friend Jessica sat next to her, rolling her eyes. "My dad says this coach is mean," Jessica whispered. Maya nodded but kept watching Tank. Something about him made her uncomfortable. He reminded her of the older kids at school who picked on smaller children. Suddenly, the gym doors opened and a tall man in a simple black tracksuit walked in. He moved quietly, like he didn't want anyone to notice him. But Maya noticed right away. So did Jessica. "Oh my gosh," Jessica gasped. "Is that?" Maya's heart started beating fast. She knew that walk. She had watched it on YouTube videos with her grandpa 100 times. Those hands, that face, the way he held his shoulders straight and proud. Michael Jordan. The gym got quiet fast. Kids started pointing and whispering. Parents pulled out their phones. Even Tank stopped talking and stared. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player who ever lived, was standing in their little community center gym. "No way," breathed a kid behind Maya. "That's actually him." Jordan smiled and waved at the kids. His smile was warm and kind. Maya felt like she might cry from happiness. Her grandpa was going to flip when she told him. "Mr. Jordan." Tank suddenly boomed, his voice even louder than before. "What brings you to our little gym?" Jordan walked over to the kids on the bleachers. He high-fived a few of them. When he got to Maya, he stopped. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Maya," she whispered, too excited to speak normally. "Maya, that's a beautiful name. Do you like basketball?" She nodded so hard her ponytail bounced. "My grandpa and I watch your games on YouTube. He says you're the greatest of all time." Jordan chuckled. "Your grandpa sounds like a smart man." Tank cleared his throat loudly. He didn't like that Jordan was getting all the attention. "Mr. Jordan, I was just telling these kids about real basketball. The kind we used to play before everyone got soft." Jordan stood up and looked at Tank. His expression changed slightly. Maya noticed it right away. Her grandpa made the same face when he was trying to be polite to rude people. "Is that right?" Jordan said calmly. "Oh yes," Tank continued, walking closer. Maya could see him puffing out his chest. "These kids think today's NBA is amazing, but they don't know what real basketball looks like. Physical basketball, tough basketball." More parents had started gathering around the gym. Word was spreading fast that Michael Jordan was here. Kids were calling their friends. Maya saw her mom rush in, still wearing her work uniform. Tank was enjoying all the attention. He started talking louder and walking around like he was giving a speech. "Don't get me wrong, Mr. Jordan. You were great in your day, but basketball has changed. Players today are stronger, faster, smarter. Even the legends from back then couldn't keep up with today's game. The gym got very quiet. Maya felt her stomach drop. Was Tank really talking trash to Michael Jordan? Jordan's jaw tightened just a little. Maya's grandpa had taught her to watch people's faces. Jordan was getting angry, but he was controlling it. The game has definitely evolved, Jordan said carefully. Exactly, Tank grinned, thinking Jordan was agreeing with him. I bet even you couldn't hang with today's players. The game has passed you by. You're what, 60 now? Way too old and slow. Maya gasped. So did half the kids in the gym. She couldn't believe Tank was being so rude. Jordan was quiet for a long moment. He looked around the gym at all the kids' faces. Maya saw something change in his eyes. It was the same look he had in those old championship videos, focused and determined. You think I'm too old? Jordan asked quietly. Tank sensed an opportunity. He loved attention, and now he had a gym full of people watching him challenge the most famous basketball player in history. I mean, let's be honest, Tank said with a smirk. You're 60 years old. These kids think you're still the greatest, but I bet you can't even make it through one quarter against real players. Basketball has changed, Mr. Jordan. You're old news. The gym was so quiet Maya could hear her own heartbeat. Parents looked shocked. Kids looked scared. Some of the older boys looked excited, like they were about to see a fight. Jordan walked over to the ball rack. He picked up an orange basketball, the same color as the one Maya had been dribbling earlier. Everyone watched as he held it in his hands, feeling its weight. He dribbled the ball once against the floor. The sound echoed through the silent gym like a gunshot. Then he dribbled it again. Every single person in that gym was staring at the ball. As it hit the floor and bounced back up to Jordan's hand, Maya held her breath. The basketball seemed to hang in the air forever before coming back down. Jordan caught the ball and looked straight at Tank. His voice was quiet but clear enough for everyone to hear. When Tank's grin got bigger, he thought he had already won. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Same time, same place. We'll see what the great Michael Jordan can really do. Jordan nodded once. He set the ball back on the rack and walked toward the exit. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't wave. He just walked out of the gym, leaving everyone stunned and silent. Maya watched him go, her heart pounding. She looked around at all the shocked faces. Parents were whispering to each other. Kids were staring at the doors where Jordan had disappeared. She turned to Jessica, who looked as amazed as Maya felt. My grandpa always says Mr. Jordan never backs down from a fight, Maya whispered. Tomorrow night was going to change everything. Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the look in Michael Jordan's eyes when Tank challenged him. It reminded her of something, but she couldn't figure out what. She tiptoed down the hall to her grandfather's room. Roberto Rodriguez was sitting up in his old chair, looking at photo albums by lamplight. He did this when he couldn't sleep, which happened a lot lately. Grandpa, Maya whispered from the doorway. Come here, Mija, he said softly, patting his knee. Can't sleep either? Maya climbed onto his lap, careful not to bump his oxygen tank. The photos in the album were old and yellow. She saw pictures of her grandpa as a young soldier, then as a young father holding her mom as a baby. Grandpa, do you think Mr. Jordan will really play tomorrow? Roberto was quiet for a moment. His weathered hands turned the page to show a picture of him playing basketball with Maya's mom when she was little. Let me tell you a story, he said. When I was your age, there was a boy in my school named Miguel. He was small, like you. The bigger kids always picked on him. Maya snuggled closer. She loved her grandpa's stories. One day, the biggest bully in school challenged Miguel to a fight after school. Everyone thought Miguel would run away. But you know what he did? What? He showed up. Not because he thought he could win, but because running away would hurt more than any punch. Maya thought about this. Did he win the fight? Roberto smiled. That's not the right question, Mija. The right question is, did he win respect? Did he? He earned something better than respect. He earned peace with himself. Meanwhile, across the city, Michael Jordan sat alone in his home office. The room was filled with trophies, championship rings, and framed photos from his legendary career. But tonight, he wasn't looking at any of those things. He was staring at one specific photo on his desk. It showed him as a 16-year-old boy, sitting on his bed and crying. His mother, Dolores, had her arm around his shoulders. It was taken the day after he got cut from his high school basketball team. Jordan remembered that day like it was yesterday. He had been so sure he would make the team. He was good enough. He worked harder than anyone. But the coach said he was too short, too skinny, not ready. "I'll never be good enough," teenage Michael had sobbed to his mother. Dolores Jordan had looked her son in the eyes and said something he would never forget. "Michael, being great isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up every single time. Every single time." Jordan's phone buzzed, interrupting his memory. It was a text from his old teammate Charles Barkley. "Saw the news about tomorrow. You don't have to do this, Mike." Another text from Scottie Pippen. "That coach is an idiot. Don't give him what he wants." Then another from Magic Johnson. "Call me if you need to talk." Jordan smiled slightly. His friends were worried about him. They thought he was making a mistake. Maybe they were right. His wife, Yvette, entered the office carrying 2 cups of tea. She set one down next to him and sat in the chair across from his desk. "The whole basketball world is talking about tomorrow," she said gently. Jordan nodded, but didn't look up from the photo. "Michael, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You've already proven everything there is to prove. I'm not doing this for me," Jordan said quietly, still looking at the picture of his teenage self. "I'm doing this for every kid who's been told they're not good enough." Yvette studied her husband's face. After 30 years of marriage, she could read his expressions like a book. This wasn't about pride or ego. This was about something deeper. "Tell me about the real reason," she said. Jordan finally looked up from the photo. His eyes were tired, but determined. "There was this little girl at the gym today, Maya. She reminded me of myself at that age. Full of dreams, but surrounded by people trying to crush them." He picked up the photo and showed it to Yvette. "When I was 16 and got cut from the team, I had 2 choices. Give up on basketball forever, or use the pain to make me stronger. That photo was taken on the worst day of my life. But it was also the day I decided who I was going to become." Yvette looked at the photo, then back at her husband. "You think that coach today was trying to cut Maya's dreams?" "Not just Maya. All those kids. They were watching to see what I would do. Would I walk away when someone challenged me? Would I let a bully win just because I'm older now?" Jordan stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Chicago stretched out in all directions. Somewhere out there, Maya was probably lying awake thinking about tomorrow night. "I've been hiding something from you," Jordan said without turning around. "And from everyone else." Yvette's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" Jordan held up his hands. Even in the dim light, Yvette could see they were shaking slightly. "Arthritis in my hands and knees. It's been getting worse for 2 years. Some days I can barely grip a coffee cup without pain." Yvette gasped. "Michael, why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't want to admit it was real. I didn't want to admit that my body was giving up on me." He turned back to face her, and she saw tears in his eyes. "Tomorrow night, I'm going to play basketball with hands that shake and knees that feel like they're full of broken glass. I'm going to embarrass myself in front of hundreds of people. But you know what? That little girl Maya is going to see that it's okay to be scared, as long as you don't let the fear stop you from trying." Yvette walked over and took her husband's shaking hands in hers. "You could get seriously hurt." "I've been hurt before," Jordan said, "but I've never been a quitter. And I'm not starting now." Back across the city, Maya had finally fallen asleep in her grandfather's chair. Roberto gently carried her back to her room and tucked her into bed. He turned off her light. He whispered a prayer he had learned as a young soldier. "Give us the strength to face tomorrow with courage and the wisdom to know that some battles are worth fighting, no matter the cost." Tomorrow night, Maya would learn that lesson firsthand. Tomorrow night, Michael Jordan would prove that being great isn't about never falling down, that it's about getting back up every single time. Those words echoed in Michael Jordan's mind as his alarm went off at 5 a.m. His body felt stiff and sore, like it did every morning now. The arthritis in his hands made it hard to turn off the alarm clock. That he slowly got dressed and drove to his private gym across town. This was where he used to train during his playing days. The gym was empty and quiet, just the way he liked it. Ben Murphy was already waiting for him. Ben had been Jordan's trainer for 15 years. He knew about the arthritis, the pain, and all the medical reports Jordan tried to hide from everyone else. "Michael, you sure about this?" Ben asked, his face full of worry. "Your medical reports from last month's show? I didn't ask for your Opinion, Ben. Jordan interrupted, his voice sharp. I asked for your help. Ben sighed. He had seen Jordan in this mood before. Focused, determined, impossible to argue with. All right, but we do this my way. We protect your body while we get you ready. For the next 2 hours, Jordan worked out differently than he ever had before. Every movement was planned to protect his aging joints while keeping his competitive edge sharp. Instead of running hard on the treadmill, he did careful stretches that wouldn't hurt his knees. Instead of lifting heavy weights, he worked on keeping his shooting form smooth and accurate. Ben watched Jordan shoot basket after basket. Most of them went in, but Ben noticed something that worried him. Jordan's hands shook slightly every time. He caught the ball. It was barely noticeable, but it was there. Your hands okay? Ben asked quietly. Jordan paused, holding the basketball. They have to be. It wasn't really an answer, but Ben knew not to push harder. Meanwhile, across town, Coach Tank Wellington was at his own gym. It was smaller and older than Jordan's fancy place, but Tank liked it that way. It felt more real to him. His 5 best players were waiting for him. Jerome Lightning Harris, Marcus The Wall Thompson, Andre Smooth Williams, Carlos Rocket Mendez, and Damon Ice Foster. These weren't just random street players. They were all former college athletes who couldn't quite make it to the NBA. Jerome had played at Duke for 3 years. Marcus was a star at Michigan State. They were talented, hungry, and in the best shape of their lives. Tank walked into the gym like a general talking to his army. Boys, this is our moment, he announced, his voice booming off the walls. Tonight, we beat Michael Jordan. Tomorrow, we're famous. Every basketball camp in America will want to hire us. The players looked at each other. They were excited about the challenge, but something felt wrong about Tank's attitude. Jerome, who was the most talented of the group, raised his hand. Coach, what if we actually hurt him? The man is 60 years old. Tank's face got red. Then, maybe he shouldn't have accepted the challenge. This isn't charity, Jerome. This is basketball. Andre shifted uncomfortably. I mean, he's Michael Jordan. Shouldn't we show some respect? Respect? Tank laughed loudly. He's the one who thinks he can beat 5 young men in their prime. If he gets embarrassed, that's his fault, not ours. The players started their practice, but the mood felt heavy. They were good players, and they respected the game. Beating up an old man, even if that old man was Michael Jordan, didn't feel right. But Tank kept pushing them harder. Run him into the ground. Tank shouted as they scrimmaged. Make him work for every breath. Show him that his time is over. Jerome scored an easy layup, but didn't celebrate. Coach, are you sure this is about basketball? Or is this about something else? Tank's face got even redder. What's that supposed to mean? It means maybe you're more interested in embarrassing Michael Jordan than you are in teaching kids how to play basketball. The gym got quiet. The other players stopped dribbling and looked at their coach. Tank stared at Jerome for a long moment. You better be ready to play tonight, Lightning. All of you better be ready. Because if we lose to a 60-year-old man, we'll be the laughingstock of Chicago. Back at Jordan's gym, the workout was almost over. Jordan was exhausted, and the pain in his joints was getting worse. But he kept shooting, kept moving, kept pushing through. Ben watched his friend and saw something that scared him. Jordan was running on willpower and pride. His body was telling him to stop, but his mind wouldn't let him. That's enough for today, Ben said firmly. Jordan wiped sweat from his face with a towel. His hands were shaking more now, and both men could see it. Ben, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think I'm being stupid? Everyone keeps telling me to walk away from this. Ben thought carefully before answering. He had trained a lot of athletes over the years, but Jordan was different. Jordan never did anything just for himself. Why are you really doing this, Michael? Jordan sat down on the bench and looked at his trembling hands. Yesterday, I met this little girl named Maya. She loves basketball, but kids at school tell her girls can't play. She reminded me of myself when I got cut from my high school team. Ben nodded, understanding now. If I walk away from Tank's challenge, what does that teach her? That when someone says you're not good enough, you should just give up. And if you get hurt? Jordan smiled sadly. Then she learns that it's okay to get hurt trying. That's better than never trying at all. Ben packed up the equipment in silence. He understood now why Jordan was doing this. It wasn't about basketball. It wasn't about beating 5 young men. It was about showing one little girl that dreams don't have expiration dates. Your body is going to hate you tomorrow, been warned. My body already hates me, Jordan replied. But my heart is ready for this fight. As Jordan left the gym, he felt nervous for the first time in years. Not nervous about losing. He had lost games before. He was nervous about letting down a little girl he barely knew, but who believed in him completely. Tonight, he would find out if 60-year-old legs could carry 40 years of heart. Tonight, Maya would learn what it really means to never give up. Tonight, Tank Wellington would discover that some legends are too stubborn to fade away quietly. The clock on Jordan's car dashboard read 3:17 p.m. In less than 4 hours, everything would change. News traveled fast in Chicago. By 4 p.m., every sports radio station was talking about the challenge. Social media was buzzing with videos from the day before. Someone had recorded Tank's dare on their phone, and now millions of people had seen it. Maya sat in her living room, watching the news with her grandfather Roberto. The TV reporter stood outside the Riverside Community Center, where a long line of people was already forming. This unprecedented challenge has captured the attention of basketball fans worldwide. The reporter said into her microphone, Michael Jordan, at age 60, will attempt to score 15 points against 5 young, talented players in a single 20-minute quarter. Roberto shook his head slowly. Mija, this is not good. Too many people, too much pressure. Maya felt butterflies in her stomach. Grandpa, what if Mr. Jordan gets hurt? Sometimes, little one, the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing at all. By 5 p.m., the Riverside Community Center was packed. Over 500 people crowded into a gym designed for maybe 200. Local news crews set up cameras in every corner. Someone had even brought a professional scoreboard. Maya and Roberto got there early and found seats in the front row. Maya wore her Lucky Chicago Bulls t-shirt and carried a small sign that said, "We believe in you, Mr. Jordan." In crayon, Jessica and her parents sat next to them. Behind them, Maya could hear adults arguing about whether Jordan was brave or foolish. "He's 60 years old," said one man. "His knees are probably shot." "This is Michael Jordan we're talking about," argued a woman. "He'll find a way to win." Against 5 college-level players? That's impossible. Maya tried to block out the negative voices, but they made her worry more. At 6 p.m., 2 familiar faces walked through the gym doors. Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen, Jordan's old teammates, pushed through the crowd toward the court. The gym erupted in cheers. People held up phones to take pictures. Maya jumped up and down when she saw them. "They came to support Mr. Jordan," she told her grandfather excitedly. Barkley and Pippen looked serious as they found seats near the court. Maya could see them whispering to each other, their faces full of concern. Then Tank's team arrived. Jerome, Marcus, Andre, Carlos, and Damon walked in wearing matching black warm-up suits. They looked like professional athletes, young, strong, and confident. The crowd cheered for them too, but differently. Some people seemed excited to see the young guns who might take down a legend. Others booed, thinking they were being disrespectful. Jerome looked uncomfortable with all the attention. He scanned the crowd, and his eyes stopped when he saw Maya's sign. For a moment, their eyes met across the gym. Jerome gave her a small nod, and Maya felt a little better. Tank strutted in behind his players, wearing a brand new Chicago Bulls coaching outfit. He waved to the cameras like he was already famous. Maya didn't like the way he smiled. It reminded her of bullies at school. Dr. Sarah Chin arrived at 6:30, carrying a large medical bag. She was the team Dr. Jordan had specifically requested. Maya's mom, who worked at the hospital, had pointed her out. "She's the best sports doctor in Chicago," her mom whispered. "If Mr. Jordan asked for her, he's taking this very seriously." Dr. Chin set up a small medical station near the court. Maya noticed how carefully she organized her equipment. It made Maya even more nervous. The referees arrived next, 2 experienced officials who usually worked high school games. They looked overwhelmed by the crowd and the cameras, but they began setting up the court professionally. At 6:45, the gym doors opened one more time. Michael Jordan walked in. The entire gym exploded. 500 people jumped to their feet, cheering, clapping, and shouting his name. Cameras flashed like lightning. The noise was so loud Maya had to cover her ears, but Jordan looked different than he had the day before. He seemed smaller somehow, more human. He wore simple workout clothes and carried just a small bag. His face was calm, but Maya could see tension around his eyes. Jordan waved to the crowd, but he didn't smile much. He walked straight to Dr. Chun and spoke to her quietly. Maya saw him flex his hands several times, like they were bothering him. Tank jumped up from his bench and grabbed a microphone someone had set up. "Ladies and gentlemen," Tank's voice boomed over the speakers. "Welcome to the challenge of the century. Tonight, we find out if legends can keep up with today's game." The crowd cheered, but Maya noticed that Jordan didn't look at Tank. Instead, he was scanning the bleachers. When his eyes found Maya, he pointed at her and touched his heart, the same gesture he had made the day before. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Even with all these people watching, even with all this pressure, Mr. Jordan was thinking about her. The referees called both sides together to explain the rules. The microphone picked up their voices. 1 20-minute quarter. NBA rules apply. Mr. Jordan needs to score 15 points to win. Tank's team wins if they hold him under 15 points. 15 points against 5 players? Someone in the crowd shouted. "That's impossible." Maya heard the doubt in people's voices. She looked at her grandfather, who was watching Jordan carefully. "Grandpa, can he really do it?" Roberto was quiet for a long moment. He watched Jordan stretching his legs, saw how carefully he moved, noticed how his hands trembled slightly when he picked up the practice ball. "Mija," Roberto said finally, "some battles aren't about winning or losing. They're about showing up when everyone thinks you should quit." The clock on the scoreboard read 6 to 58 p.m. 2 minutes until game time. Jordan bounced the ball twice and looked up at the crowd. 500 people holding their breath. Cameras recording every moment. His old teammates watching with worry. A little girl in the front row believing in him completely. Tank was grinning and talking to reporters, already planning his victory speech. Jerome and his teammates looked ready but uncomfortable, like they were about to do something they weren't. Sure was right. Dr. Chin had her medical equipment ready and her eyes locked on Jordan. Maya gripped her grandfather's hand tightly. The referee picked up his whistle. Everything was about to change. The referee blew his whistle. The game began. Maya held her breath as Jerome Harris dribbled the ball toward Michael Jordan. Lightning was fast, really fast. Jordan crouched down in his defensive stance, but Maya could see he was moving more slowly than in the old videos. She watched with her grandpa. Jerome made a quick move to the right. Jordan tried to stay with him, but his 60-year-old legs couldn't keep up. Jerome stole the ball cleanly and scored an easy layup. The crowd groaned. Tank's team, 2. Jordan, 0. "Come on, Mike." Charles Barkley shouted from the sidelines. Jordan got the ball back and dribbled it slowly up the court. All 5 of Tank's players surrounded him like wolves. Maya had never seen anything like it. 5 young, strong men all focused on stopping one older man. Jordan tried to shoot his famous fadeaway jumper. The ball left his hands, spinning perfectly through the air. For a moment, Maya thought it was going in. Clang, the ball bounced hard off the rim. Marcus Thompson grabbed the rebound and passed it to Andre Williams, who scored another easy basket. Tank's team, 4. Jordan, 0. "This is embarrassing," someone behind Maya shouted. "He should quit now." Maya felt tears starting in her eyes. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Mr. Jordan was supposed to be amazing, like in all the videos. The next few minutes were painful to watch. Every time Jordan got the ball, 5 players swarmed him. When he tried to shoot, his timing was off. His hands were shaking more now, and everyone could see it. Jerome scored again. Then Carlos got a steal and made another basket. By the 5-minute mark, the scoreboard told a heartbreaking story. Tank's team, 8. Jordan, 0. Jordan hadn't scored a single point. The crowd was getting restless. Some people started to leave. Maya heard whispers all around her. "This is sad to watch. Someone should stop this. He's making a fool of himself." Tank was jumping up and down on the sidelines, pumping his fist every time his team scored. He kept looking at the cameras, making sure they caught his celebration. "This is what real basketball looks like," Tank shouted to the reporters. "The old days are over." Maya looked at her grandfather. Roberto's face was sad but not surprised. "Grandpa, Mr. Jordan looks hurt," Maya whispered. "Yes, Mija, but watch." His eyes. Really watch them. Maya looked carefully at Jordan's face. He was breathing hard and sweating. His hands were definitely shaking. But Roberto was right. There was something in his eyes that hadn't changed. They still looked determined. Even though his body was struggling, Jordan missed another shot. This one wasn't even close. The crowd groaned again, louder this time. Maybe he should give up, Jessica whispered to Maya. This is just embarrassing. But Maya remembered what her grandfather had taught her about never quitting. She thought about all the times kids at school had told her girls couldn't play basketball. She thought about how Mr. Jordan had been cut from his high school team. Maya stood up, her small voice cut through the noise of the gym. Come on, Mr. Jordan. You can do it. The gym got quieter. People turned to look at the little girl in the front row with the homemade sign. Jordan heard her. He looked over at Maya, then at her grandfather Roberto, who was clapping steadily. For just a moment, Jordan smiled. Then something changed. Maya saw it first, the way Jordan's shoulders straightened, the way his jaw set with determination. It was the same look from those championship videos, the same expression he had when he never gave up. The crowd started to notice it too. Jordan's movements became more controlled, more purposeful. His hands were still shaking, but he seemed to be using that energy differently now. On the next possession, Tank's team tried their usual swarming defense. But this time, Jordan was ready for it. He used a pump fake, a move so smooth and perfect that all 5 defenders jumped at once. While they were in the air, Jordan calmly stepped to the side and took a simple shot. Swish, the ball went through the net without touching the rim. The crowd exploded like Jordan had just won the championship. Maya jumped up and down, screaming with joy. Her first basket. Finally, the scoreboard changed. Tank's team, 8. Jordan, 2. Jordan didn't celebrate. He just pointed at Maya and nodded once. Then he got ready to play defense. Jerome brought the ball up court, but something was different now. The crowd was louder. Jordan was moving with more confidence. Even though he was still slower than the young players, he was starting to think like the champion he used to be. Tank noticed the change. 2. He stopped celebrating and started yelling at his players. Don't let up. Keep the pressure on. But Maya could see it in Jerome's face. He was starting to feel bad about this whole thing. Beating up an old man wasn't as fun as he thought it would be. The clock showed 15 minutes left to play. Jordan needed 13 more points to reach 15 and win the challenge. But for the first time since the game started, Maya believed it might be possible. Grandpa, she whispered excitedly. I think Mr. Jordan is just getting started. Roberto smiled and squeezed her hand. That's what champions do, Mija. They find a way to fight back, even when everything looks impossible. The real game was just beginning. Jordan's first basket changed everything. The crowd was louder now, clapping in rhythm. Maya's voice had given them hope again. Defense, defense. The crowd chanted as Jerome brought the ball up court. This time, Jordan was ready. He couldn't run as fast as the young players, but he was thinking 5 moves ahead of them. When Jerome tried the same quick move that had worked before, Jordan was already there waiting. He stripped the ball cleanly and dribbled toward the other end of the court. His 60-year-old legs couldn't run fast anymore, but they remembered how to play smart. Carlos tried to steal the ball back, but Jordan used a crossover dribble that made the young player stumble. The crowd gasped at the beauty of the move. It was like watching an artist paint with a basketball. Jordan pulled up for a jump shot from 15 feet away. His form was still perfect, the same smooth motion that had made him famous. The ball arced through the air and dropped through the net. Swish. Tank's team, 8. Jordan, 4. Yes. Maya screamed, jumping up and down. Other kids in the crowd started cheering louder too. Tank wasn't smiling anymore. He called timeout and gathered his players. What are you doing out there? Tank yelled at his team. He's 60 years old. Stop playing with him. But Jerome was looking confused. Coach, he's not the same player who started the game. He's different now. I don't care if he's different. Tank shouted. Run him until he can't breathe. Make him hurt. Andre shifted uncomfortably. Coach, that doesn't seem right. I'm not paying you to think. Tank snapped. I'm paying you to win. Meanwhile, Dr. Chin approached Jordan during the timeout. She checked his pulse and looked into his eyes with a small flashlight. Michael, your heart rate is very high, she said quietly. And your hands are shaking more. Jordan looked down at his trembling hands. The arthritis pain was getting worse, shooting through his fingers every time he gripped the ball. I'm fine, Sarah. No, you're not. Your body is working overtime just to keep up. You need to be careful. Jordan looked over at Maya, who was waving her sign and smiling at him. I can't stop yet. I promised that little girl I wouldn't give up. Dr. Chin followed his gaze and saw Maya's hopeful face. She sighed. Just be smart about this, Michael. The timeout ended. As the players returned to the court, Jordan caught Jerome's eye. You're a good player, son, Jordan said quietly. Your coach is asking you to do something that isn't basketball. Jerome looked surprised that Jordan was talking to him. Sir, basketball is about respect. For the game, for your opponents, for yourself. Remember that. The game resumed. Tank's team had the ball, but something was different now. Jerome passed up an easy shot and instead tried to make a fancy play. He missed, and Jordan got the rebound. Jordan slowly dribbled up court. The crowd was on its feet now, sensing something special happening. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. This was about heart, about never giving up, about showing that age was just a number. Jordan faced all 5 defenders again. They surrounded him like before, but this time Jordan was patient. He waited, watched, and then made his move that he used. A pump fake so convincing that Marcus and Andre both jumped. While they were in the air, Jordan stepped back and calmly took another shot. Nothing but net. Tank's team 8, Jordan 6. The crowd went wild. Maya was crying happy tears. Even some of Tank's players looked impressed despite themselves. This is impossible, Tank screamed from the sidelines. He's just getting lucky. But it wasn't luck. Jordan was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He couldn't jump as high or run as fast, but his basketball brain was still the sharpest in the gym. The next few minutes were pure magic. Jordan scored again on a beautiful fadeaway jumper that reminded everyone why he was called the greatest of all time. Then he stole the ball from Carlos and made an easy layup. Tank's team 10, Jordan 10. The game was tied. The crowd was going crazy. People who had left early were rushing back in. Basketball fans across Chicago were calling their friends to turn on the news. Tank called another timeout. His face was red and sweaty. You're making me look like an idiot, he yelled at his players. Coach, Jerome said quietly, maybe we should just play basketball. No more trying to hurt him. Are you kidding me? Tank exploded. We can't lose. To a senior citizen. What will people think? Marcus spoke up. Maybe they'll think we learned something about respect. Tank stared at his players. He was losing control of his team, and he knew it. But Jordan was losing something too. Dr. Chun could see it from the sidelines. His breathing was becoming labored. His legs were cramping. The arthritis pain in his hands was getting worse with every shot. When the timeout ended, Jordan caught the ball and almost dropped it. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely grip it. The scoreboard showed 8 minutes left to play. Jordan needed 5 more points to reach 15 and win. But Maya could see he was hurting badly. Grandpa, she whispered, Mr. Jordan looks really tired. Roberto nodded grimly. Champions don't quit, Mija, but sometimes their bodies quit on them. As Jordan dribbled slowly up court, everyone in the gym could see he was struggling. His steps were shorter. His shoulders were sagging. The miracle comeback was running out of gas. Tank saw it too, and his cruel smile returned. Now we finish him, he muttered, but Maya stood up again. This time, her grandfather stood with her. Then Jessica stood up. Then her parents. Soon, half the crowd was on their feet, clapping for Jordan. Don't quit, Mr. Jordan. Maya shouted. We believe in you. Jordan heard her voice through his pain and exhaustion. He looked up at all the people standing and cheering for him. Then he looked at the scoreboard. 5 more points. 8 minutes left. His body was failing, but his heart was still strong. The comeback wasn't over yet. Jordan dribbled the ball slowly up the court. Every step hurt now. His knees felt like they were full of broken glass. His hands shook so badly he almost lost control of the ball twice. But the crowd's energy kept pushing him forward. Maya's voice rose above all the others. You can do it, Mr. Jordan. He needed 5 more points in 8 minutes. That should have been easy for the greatest basketball player of all time. But this wasn't the Michael Jordan of 1991 or 1998. This was a 60-year-old man whose body was screaming at him to stop. Jordan tried a jump shot from the free throw line. His legs barely got him off the ground. The ball clanged off the front of the rim. Marcus grabbed the rebound and passed it to Jerome. Tank's team quickly scored at the other end. The score was now 12-10 in their favor. Time is running out, old man, Tank shouted from the sidelines. Give up now and save yourself some dignity. Jordan ignored him. He got the ball back and drove toward the basket. For a moment, he looked like his younger self, determined, focused, unstoppable. But then disaster struck. As Jordan planted his left foot to jump, his 60-year-old knee gave out completely. He crashed hard to the floor, clutching his leg and groaning in pain. The gym went silent. Even the kids stopped cheering. Maya gasped and covered her mouth with her hands. "Grandpa, is he okay?" Dr. Chen rushed onto the court, her medical bag in hand. She knelt beside Jordan, who was lying on his side and breathing heavily. "That's it, Michael," she said firmly, checking his knee. "You're done. This could be a serious injury." Jordan struggled to sit up, his face twisted with pain. "I can finish, Sarah. Just give me a minute." "Michael, you could tear something important. You could need surgery. This isn't worth it." Tank saw his opportunity. He grabbed the microphone and addressed the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the great Michael Jordan can't handle real basketball after all." Some people in the crowd booed Tank loudly. Others looked worried about Jordan. A few started heading for the exits, thinking the game was over, but Maya wasn't giving up. She jumped out of her seat and ran toward the court before her grandfather could stop her. "Mr. Jordan," she called out, tears streaming down her face. "Please don't quit. Please." Security tried to stop her, but Roberto followed his granddaughter onto the court. His oxygen tank rolled behind him as he walked slowly toward Jordan. "Mija, come back," Roberto called gently, but Maya reached Jordan first. She knelt beside him, her small hand touching his shoulder. "Mr. Jordan, I know it hurts," she said through her tears, "but you taught me that it's okay to be scared as long as you don't let the fear stop you from trying." Jordan looked up at the little girl. Her face was full of concern and love. Behind her, he could see her grandfather approaching with understanding in his eyes. "Are you scared, Mr. Jordan?" Maya asked quietly. Jordan thought about lying. He thought about being the tough guy, the champion who never showed weakness. But looking into Maya's innocent eyes, he decided to tell the truth. "Yes, sweetheart. I'm very scared right now. Scared of losing." Jordan shook his head slowly. "Scared of letting you down." Maya wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "My grandpa says you can't let someone down if you're being brave. And you're the bravest person I know." Roberto reached them and placed his weathered hand on Jordan's shoulder. "Son, I was a soldier once. I know what real courage looks like. It's not about winning or losing. It's about standing up when everyone thinks you should stay down." Dr. Chun was still examining Jordan's knee. "Michael, I can't let you continue. This is dangerous." Jordan looked around the gym. Half the crowd was watching with concern. The other half was getting restless. Tank was still smirking, sure that his victory was complete. But then something unexpected happened. Jerome Harris, the best player on Tank's team, walked over to the group on the floor. He had been watching everything, and his face showed he was struggling with something. "Mr. Jordan," Jerome said quietly, "are you okay?" Jordan looked up at the young man who had been guarding him all night. "I've been better, son. I wanted to tell you something," Jerome continued, glancing back at Tank nervously. "My little brother is in the crowd tonight. He's 8 years old, just like Maya here." Jerome pointed to a section of bleachers where a small boy was watching with wide eyes. "He came to see you play, Mr. Jordan. He doesn't care about winning or losing. He just wanted to see what greatness looks like." Jordan followed Jerome's gaze to the little boy, who waved shyly when he saw them looking. "I've been thinking," Jerome said, his voice getting stronger. "Maybe this whole thing isn't about basketball. Maybe it's about something bigger." Tank heard this and stormed onto the court. "Jerome, get away from him. We're winning. Don't blow this." But Jerome didn't move. Instead, he offered his hand to Jordan. "Can I help you up, sir?" Dr. Chin started to protest, but Jordan was already reaching for Jerome's hand. With the young man's help, he slowly got to his feet. His knee hurt terribly, but he could stand. "Michael, you cannot keep playing," Dr. Chin insisted. "I'm serious about the injury risk." Jordan tested his weight on the injured leg. Every step sent pain shooting through his knee, but he didn't fall down. "How much time is left?" he asked the referee. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Jordan looked at the scoreboard. Tank's team, 12, Jordan, 10. He needed 5 more points to win, but his body was falling apart. Maya tugged on his jersey. "Mr. Jordan, what are you going to do?" Jordan looked down at her hopeful face, then at Jerome's respectful expression, then at Roberto's knowing smile. "I'm going to show everyone what it means to never give up," he said quietly. "Even if you lose?" Maya asked. Jordan knelt down to her level, ignoring the pain in his knee. Maya, sometimes the most important victories happen when you refuse to quit, even when winning seems impossible. He stood back up and nodded to the referee. I'm ready to continue. The crowd erupted in cheers. Even some of Tank's supporters were impressed by Jordan's courage. But as Jordan limped back into position, everyone could see the truth. His body was broken. His hands were shaking worse than ever. His knee could barely support his weight. 5.5 minutes left. 5 points needed. Everything on the line. The breaking point had arrived. As Jordan limped back into position, the referee held the ball and waited. The entire gym was silent except for the sound of Jordan's labored breathing. His knee throbbed with every heartbeat, but something else was happening in Jordan's mind. As he stood there, barely able to support his own weight, memories came flooding back. Not memories of championships or fame, but something much more important. 3 weeks earlier, Michael Jordan sat in his home office, sorting through fan mail. Most letters asked for autographs or money, but one envelope was different. It was addressed in careful, shaky handwriting that reminded him of his own grandfather's writing. Inside was a letter from Roberto Rodriguez. Dear Mr. Jordan, my name is Roberto Rodriguez. I am a retired soldier and grandfather to an 8-year-old girl named Maya. I am writing because I may not have much time left. The doctors say I have cancer. Maya doesn't know how sick I am. She thinks I'm just tired a lot. But I want to tell you about her before I can't anymore. Maya loves basketball more than anything in the world. She practices every day in our driveway, trying to shoot like you. But kids at school tell her girls can't play basketball. They make fun of her dreams. She's starting to believe them, Mr. Jordan. I see her confidence fading every day. She's beginning to think maybe she's not good enough. Maybe she should give up. I know you probably get thousands of letters, but I had to try. Maya's biggest dream is to meet you. She talks about you every day. She says you never gave up, even when things got hard. That I might not live long enough to take her to meet you. But if there's any chance, any way you could visit Chicago and maybe see her, it would mean everything. My granddaughter needs to see that dreams don't have expiration dates. Thank you for reading this. Respectfully yours, Roberto Rodriguez P.S. Maya will be at the Riverside Community Center basketball camp next month. Just in case miracles still happen, Jordan had read that letter 5 times that night. Then he called his assistant and asked her to clear his schedule for the following month. He hadn't planned to challenge anyone. He had simply wanted to surprise Maya at the community center, maybe take some pictures and sign some autographs. Show her that her hero cared about her dreams. But when Tank made his cruel challenge in front of all those kids, Jordan realized this was something bigger. This wasn't just about meeting Maya anymore. This was about showing her, and every other kid facing impossible odds, that you never surrender your dreams. Back in the present moment, Jordan blinked and refocused on the game. The referee was still waiting. The crowd was still silent. Maya was back in her seat, clutching her grandfather's hand. But now Jordan understood something he hadn't at the beginning of the night. This wasn't about scoring 15 points. This wasn't about beating 5 young players. This was about showing Maya that when the whole world tells you to quit, you find a way to keep fighting. The referee finally passed Jordan the ball. His hands shook as he caught it, but his mind was crystal clear now. He looked across the court at Tank, who was pacing the sidelines like a hungry wolf. Then he looked at Jerome and the other young players, who were waiting to see what the legend would do with his broken body. Finally, Jordan's eyes found Maya in the crowd. She was sitting on the edge of her seat, her homemade sign pressed against her chest. Behind her, Roberto was watching with the patience of a man who had seen many battles. Jordan caught Maya's eye and pointed at her, then at his heart, then at the basket. It was the same gesture he had made the day before, but now it meant something different. It was a promise that I won't give up on your dreams, Maya, no matter how much this hurts. The scoreboard showed 12-10, Tank's team leading. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. Jordan needed 5 points to win, but as he dribbled the ball and felt the familiar weight in his shaking hands, Jordan realized something that changed everything. He had already won. Not the game. He might never win the game. His body was too broken, his opponents too young and strong. But he had won something more important than any basketball scored. He had shown Maya that showing up was more important than winning. That courage was more important than success. That fighting for your dreams, even when your body betrays you, was the most important victory of all. The crowd began to murmur as Jordan stood motionless at midcourt, just holding the ball. Was he giving up? Was the pain too much? But Maya knew better. She could see it in his eyes, the same look from all those championship videos. Not the look of someone about to quit, but the look of someone who had just figured out how to win. Jordan began to dribble slowly toward the basket. Each step sent fire through his injured knee. His hands trembled with every bounce of the ball. But he kept moving forward. Tank's 5 players surrounded him again. But something was different now. Jerome was playing defense, but he wasn't trying to hurt Jordan anymore. He was playing basketball, real basketball, with respect. The others followed Jerome's lead. They were still trying to stop Jordan, but they were doing it the right way. Like basketball players, not like bullies. Jordan reached the free throw line and stopped. All 5 defenders were waiting for him. The crowd held its breath, but instead of shooting or driving to the basket, Jordan did something unexpected. He looked directly at Maya and smiled. Then he began to play basketball the way only Michael Jordan could play basketball. Not with his legs, which could barely carry him. Not with his hands, which shook with arthritis. But with his heart, which was still the strongest in the gym. What happened in the next 5 minutes would become the stuff of legend. Not because of the final score, but because of what it taught everyone who witnessed it. Sometimes the greatest victories come when you're too broken to win, but too stubborn to quit. Sometimes showing up is more important than showing off. And sometimes, an 8-year-old girl's faith in her hero can give that hero the strength to do the impossible. The clock ticked down. 5:15, 5:10, 5:05. Jordan began his final stand at the free throw line, surrounded by 5 young defenders. Jordan closed his eyes for just a moment. When he opened them, something had changed. The crowd could feel it. Maya could see it. Even Tank's players noticed it. This wasn't the same broken, struggling man from 5 minutes ago. This was Michael Jordan, not the young superstar, but something even more powerful. This was a legend who had found his purpose. Jordan made his first move. Instead of trying to power through the defense like a young player would, he used patience. He waited until Jerome leaned slightly to the left, then smoothly stepped to the right. The fadeaway jumper was perfect. Even with shaking hands and a damaged knee, the ball arced through the air like it was guided by magic. Swish. Tank's team, 12, Jordan, 12. The crowd exploded. Maya jumped so high she almost fell off her seat. He tied it. He tied it, she screamed. But Jordan wasn't celebrating. His face was calm and focused as he limped back to play defense. He knew he had used almost everything his body had left for that one shot. Jerome brought the ball up court, but he was playing differently now. Instead of trying to embarrass Jordan, he was playing respectful basketball. When he scored on a clean jump shot, he didn't celebrate wildly. He just nodded at Jordan with respect. Tank's team, 14, Jordan, 12.4 minutes left. Jordan needed 3 more points to reach 15 and win. The crowd was on its feet now, sensing they were watching something special. Even people who had never cared about basketball were cheering. This wasn't about sports anymore. This was about the human spirit. Jordan got the ball back and slowly dribbled up court. Each step was agony, but he kept moving forward. Tank's players surrounded him again, but they weren't swarming him like before. They were playing defense, not trying to hurt him. Jordan stopped at the 3-point line. All 5 defenders were watching his every move. The gym was so quiet you could hear the ball bouncing. Then Jordan did something that reminded everyone why he was called the greatest of all time. He used a pump fake so perfect, so convincing, that Marcus and Andre both jumped high in the air. While they were floating helplessly above him, Jordan calmly stepped back and took a 3-point shot. The ball left his trembling hands and flew through the air. Every person in the gym watched it spin toward the basket. Maya held her breath. Roberto gripped his granddaughter's hand. Nothing but net. Tank's team, 14, Jordan, 15. Jordan had reached his goal with 3 minutes left to play, but the game wasn't over yet. The crowd went absolutely wild. People were crying, screaming, hugging strangers. Maya was sobbing with joy, and Roberto had tears streaming down his face. Even some of Tank's players looked impressed. Jerome walked over to Jordan and quietly said, "That was beautiful, sir." Tank called timeout. His face was red and angry. He couldn't believe his team was losing to a 60-year-old man. "You're making me look like a fool." Tank screamed at his players. "Stop playing soft. This is embarrassing. But Jerome had heard enough. Coach, we're not playing soft. We're playing basketball. There's a difference. What's that supposed to mean? It means we're learning something from Mr. Jordan. Something about respect and heart and never giving up. Tank's face got even redder. I don't want you to learn from him. I want you to beat him. Marcus spoke up. We are trying to beat him, but we're doing it the right way. When the timeout ended, something beautiful happened. Tank's team came out and played the most respectful, competitive basketball of the entire game. They weren't trying to hurt Jordan anymore. They were trying to beat him with skill and teamwork. Jerome hit a difficult shot to tie the game 15-15. Then Carlos made a steal and scored to put them ahead 17-15.2 minutes left. Jordan needed 2 more points to win, but his body was finally giving up completely. He could barely walk now. His hands were shaking so badly, he almost couldn't dribble. Dr. Chun was standing at the edge of the court, ready to stop the game if Jordan collapsed. The crowd could see he was in terrible pain, but no one told him to quit. They understood now that this was bigger than basketball. This was about proving that dreams don't die just because bodies get old. Jordan got the ball with 90 seconds left. He dribbled slowly up court, each step a battle against pain and exhaustion. Tank's 5 players waited for him, but they weren't laughing or trash-talking anymore. They looked like they understood the importance of this moment too. To the top of the key, Jordan stopped. He looked up at the clock, 1:15 left. Then he looked at Maya, who was standing on her chair and clapping. Jordan made his move. Not a fast, athletic move like his younger days, but a smart, crafty move that only came with experience. He used his body to shield the ball from Jerome, then spun slowly to his left. Andre tried to steal the ball, but Jordan protected it perfectly. Then, with 45 seconds left, Jordan found himself with a clear path to the basket, but his legs had nothing left. As he tried to take that final step, his injured knee buckled completely. Jordan fell to the floor, but this time he didn't get back. Up, the crowd gasped. Maya screamed. Dr. Chen rushed onto the court again. Jordan lay on his side, breathing heavily, the basketball rolling away from his trembling hands. He had come so close. Just 2 more points. Just 1 more shot. But his body had finally said no. Tank saw his chance for victory and started to smile. Game over, he shouted. The old man is finished. But as Jordan lay on the court, surrounded by Dr. Chun and the referees, he looked up at Maya one more time. She was crying, but she was also clapping. Through her tears, she mouthed the words, "Thank you." Jordan smiled through his pain. He had kept his promise to her. He had shown her that you never give up, even when your body breaks down. Even when winning seems impossible, the scoreboard still showed. Tank's team, 17, Jordan, 15. Jordan was 2 points short of his goal, but as he lay on that gym floor, looking up at hundreds of people who were cheering for him even though he was losing, Michael Jordan realized something important. Sometimes the greatest victories don't show up on scoreboards. Dr. Chun knelt beside Jordan on the gym floor. Tank strutted to center court like he had just won the championship. He grabbed the microphone with a huge grin on his face. "Ladies and gentlemen," Tank announced loudly, "I think we can all see that the great Michael Jordan couldn't handle real basketball after all." Some people in the crowd booed Tank, but he kept talking. The final score speaks for itself. My team, 17, Jordan, 15. The legend has been defeated by the next generation. Tank raised his arms like a champion, expecting cheers. But something strange happened. The crowd wasn't cheering for him. Instead, they were still focused on Jordan, who was slowly sitting up with Dr. Chen's help. Jerome Harris had seen enough. He walked away from his celebrating teammates and approached Tank. "Coach," Jerome said quietly, "you need to stop." Tank spun around, surprised. "What are you talking about? We won." "No," Jerome said, his voice getting stronger. "We didn't win anything. We just learned what losing really looks like." The other players, Marcus, Andre, Carlos, and Damon, walked over to join Jerome. They all looked uncomfortable with Tank's celebration. "You boys are winners," Tank insisted. "You beat Michael Jordan." Marcus shook his head. "Coach, you're not listening. Look around this gym. Really look." Tank glanced around, confused. What he saw surprised him. The crowd wasn't celebrating his victory. Instead, people were standing and clapping for Jordan, who was still sitting on the floor. A little boy in the front row, Jerome's younger brother, stood up and started chapping. Then Maya stood up, still crying but smiling. Then Roberto. Then Jessica and her parents. Soon, the entire gym was on its feet, giving Jordan a standing ovation that lasted for minutes. "This doesn't make sense," Tank muttered. "He lost. I won. Why are they cheering for him?" Jerome looked at his coach with sadness in his eyes. "Because you still don't understand what just happened here." Dr. Chun helped Jordan slowly get to his feet. His knee was throbbing, his hands were still shaking, and he could barely stand. But when he saw the crowd giving him a standing ovation, he managed a small wave. The applause got even louder. Tank grabbed the microphone again. Excuse me. I won this challenge. The scoreboard shows my team ahead." But no one was listening to him anymore. Jerome walked over to Jordan, with his teammates following behind him. When they reached the legendary player, Jerome did something that surprised everyone. He knelt down on one knee, like a knight showing respect to a king. "Mr. Jordan," Jerome said clearly, his voice carrying across the quiet gym. "Thank you for teaching us what greatness really looks like." Marcus knelt down next. Then Andre, Carlos, and Damon. All 5 of Tank's players were kneeling in front of Jordan, showing him the respect he deserved. Tank's face turned bright red. "Get up. All of you get up. You're embarrassing yourselves." But his players ignored him completely. "Sir," Marcus said to Jordan, "we're sorry for how this started. We thought basketball was about winning at any cost. But you showed us it's about something bigger." Jordan looked down at the 5 young men kneeling before him. Despite his pain and exhaustion, he smiled. "Stand up, boys," Jordan said gently. "You don't need to kneel for me. You played with heart tonight. That's all anyone can ask for." As the players stood up, Jordan looked each of them in the eye. "Jerome, you're the most talented player I've faced in years. Use that talent to lift others up, not tear them down. Marcus, you're strong, but your strength means nothing if you don't. Use it to protect people who need help. Andre, Carlos, Damon, you all have gifts. Remember that those gifts came with responsibility." The 5 young men nodded, understanding. They had learned more about basketball in this one game than in all their years of playing before. Tank was furious. "You're all traitors. We won. We beat Michael Jordan." Jerome turned to face his former coach. "No, coach. You beat nobody. You tried to use us to hurt an old man, and instead you taught us what we never want to become." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you're fired," Jerome said simply. "All of us. We quit your team right now." Tank's mouth fell open. "You can't quit. I made you winners." "You didn't make us winners," Andre said. "You tried to make us bullies. There's a difference." Tank looked around desperately. His players had abandoned him. The crowd was still cheering for Jordan. His moment of triumph had turned into his greatest humiliation. Meanwhile, Maya had climbed down from the bleachers and was walking toward Jordan. Roberto followed slowly behind her, his oxygen tank rolling beside him. When Maya reached Jordan, she looked up at him with tears in her eyes. "Mr. Jordan," she said quietly, "did you lose on purpose?" Jordan knelt down carefully to her level, wincing, as his injured knee touched the floor. "What do you think, Maya?" She thought for a moment, her young mind working through everything she had witnessed. "I think you won something more important than a game." "What's that?" "You showed me that it's okay to be scared, as long as you don't let the fear stop you from trying. You showed me that falling down doesn't make you weak. Getting back up makes you strong." Jordan's eyes filled with tears. "You're a very wise little girl, Maya. And you're still the greatest basketball player ever. Not because of how many points you scored tonight, but because of why you played." Roberto reached them and placed his weathered hand on Jordan's shoulder. "Son," Roberto said, his voice thick with emotion, "I've seen many battles in my life. I know what victory looks like. And you won tonight. You won big." Jordan stood up slowly, with Jerome's help. The crowd was still applauding, but it was quieter. Now, more respectful. "Mr. Jordan," Jerome said, "can I ask you something?" "Of course. How do we become like you? Not the basketball skills, but the heart, the courage." Jordan thought about the question carefully. Then he smiled. "You start by understanding that being great isn't about being perfect. It's about caring more about others than you care about yourself. It's about showing up when people need you, even when you're scared." He looked around at all the young faces watching him. "And most importantly, you remember that your greatest victories will be the ones that help someone else believe." in their dreams. The gym was completely quiet now except for the sound of people wiping away tears. Tank made one last attempt to claim victory. "The scoreboard still shows I won," he shouted, but nobody cared about the scoreboard anymore. Maya looked up at Jordan. "One more time. Mr. Jordan, will you come watch me play basketball someday? Wild horses couldn't keep me away." Jordan promised. As the crowd began to leave, many people stopped to shake Jordan's hand or ask for autographs. But he spent most of his time talking to the kids, telling them that their dreams mattered, that they should never give up. Tank left the gym alone, muttering about how unfair everything was. His moment of fame had become his moment of shame. But for everyone else, the night had been about something beautiful. They had witnessed a legend prove that true greatness isn't about winning games, that it's about winning hearts. As the crowd began to leave the Riverside Community Center, something magical was happening. People weren't just walking away from a basketball game. They were carrying something special with them, a feeling that they had witnessed something that would change their lives. Maya walked slowly beside her grandfather Roberto, still wearing her Lucky Bulls t-shirt. She carried her homemade sign close to her chest, but now it felt different. It wasn't just a sign anymore. It was proof that she had been part of something amazing. "Grandpa," Maya said quietly, "do you think Mr. Jordan knew he was going to lose the whole time?" Roberto thought carefully before answering. His oxygen tank rolled softly beside them as they made their way toward the exit. "Mija, I think Mr. Jordan knew something more important than that." "What?" "He knew that some fights are worth having, even if you can't win them." They reached the gym doors, but Maya stopped and turned around for one last look. Mr. Jordan was still on the court, surrounded by kids who wanted to talk to him. Even though he was exhausted and hurt, he was taking time with each child. "Grandpa, I want to tell you something." Roberto knelt down carefully to Maya's level. "What is it, little one?" "Tomorrow at school, when Tommy Chun tells me girls can't play basketball, I'm going to remember tonight. I'm going to remember that Mr. Jordan was scared too, but he didn't quit." Roberto's eyes filled with tears. "That's exactly right, Mija. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing even when you are scared." Maya nodded seriously. "Mr. Jordan taught me that falling down doesn't make you a loser. Staying down makes you a loser." As they walked toward the parking lot, Maya didn't know that across the gym, Jerome Harris was having a similar conversation with his 8-year-old brother Marcus. "Jerome," little Marcus asked, "why did you and your teammates kneel down like that?" Jerome looked down at his younger brother. He thought about how to explain what had happened in terms an 8-year-old could understand. "Marcus, do you remember when you fell off your bike last month and scraped your knee really bad?" "Yeah, it hurt a lot. But what did you do?" "I got back on and rode again." "Exactly. Mr. Jordan is like that, but with his whole life. He gets knocked down, but he always gets back up. Tonight, we watched him get back up when his body was too old and too hurt to keep fighting. But he did it anyway." Little Marcus thought about this. "So he's like a superhero?" Jerome smiled. "Better than a superhero, Marcus. He's real." Meanwhile, Dr. Sarah Chun was still examining Jordan on the court. She had been worried about him all night, but now she was amazed by what she was seeing. "Michael," she said quietly, "your vital signs are actually better now than they were an hour ago." Jordan looked surprised. "How is that possible? I feel like I got hit by a truck." "Your heart rate has stabilized. Your blood pressure is normal. Your hands aren't shaking as much." Dr. Chin shook her head in wonder. "It's like your body found peace." Jordan thought about this. Maybe it did, Sarah. Maybe my body finally understood what my heart has been trying to tell it. "What's that?" "That some things are more important than being comfortable." Across town, Tank Wellington sat alone in his car in the community center parking lot. He was watching through his windshield as people left the gym, many of them still talking excitedly about what they had witnessed. His phone had been buzzing with calls from reporters wanting to interview the coach who beat Michael Jordan. But Tank wasn't answering. For the first time all night, he was really thinking about what had happened if he had won the game. The scoreboard had said so. But somehow, he felt like the biggest loser in Chicago. His 5 best players had quit his team. Parents had been talking about pulling their kids from his camp. Even his moment of fame felt hollow and meaningless. Tank thought about the way Jerome had looked at him when he said, "You're fired." There had been disappointment in the young man's eyes, but also something worse. Pity. For a moment, Tank considered going back into the gym and apologizing. Maybe he could explain that he hadn't meant for things to get so ugly. Maybe he could, but then his pride kicked in again. I won, he muttered to himself. I beat Michael Jordan. That's what matters. Tank drove away alone, still not understanding what everyone else had learned that night. Back in the gym, the crowd had thinned out, but Jordan was still there. A small group of kids had gathered around him, and he was teaching them basketball, moves using just his hands since his knee was too hurt to demonstrate with his feet. The most important thing about this move, Jordan explained to a shy 10-year-old girl, is not how fast you do it, but how confident you feel when you do it. Maya had convinced her grandfather to stay a little longer so she could be part of this group. She raised her hand like she was in school. Yes, Maya. Jordan smiled at her. Mr. Jordan, how do you stay confident when everyone tells you that you can't do something? Jordan's expression became serious. That's a great question. Maya, want to know the secret? All the kids nodded eagerly. The secret is that confidence doesn't come from other people believing in you. It comes from you believing in yourself, even when no one else does. A boy named Kevin raised his hand. But what if you're not good enough yet? Then you practice until you are good enough. But you never, ever let anyone else decide what you're capable of becoming. Maya thought about this. Mr. Jordan, did you always believe in yourself? Jordan chuckled. Maya, I told you yesterday about getting cut from my high school team. Do you think I felt confident that day? No, I felt terrible. I went home and cried. I thought maybe everyone was right. Maybe I wasn't good enough. What changed your mind? My mother told me something I'll never forget. She said that being great isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up every single time. The kids were hanging on every word. Tonight, you all watched me fall down. Not just once, but several times. My body fell down, my shots fell short, my knee gave out. But what matters is that I kept getting back up. A little girl named Sarah asked, Are you going to keep playing basketball? Jordan smiled sadly. Not like this, Sarah. My body told me tonight that this kind of basketball is in my past. But that doesn't mean I'm done helping people believe in their dreams. Maya stepped forward. Mr. Jordan, would you come watch me play basketball at my school? I already promised I would, Maya. And Michael Jordan never breaks his promises. As the last of the kids left with their parents, Jordan found himself alone. In the gym with Roberto, who had been waiting patiently. Mr. Jordan, Roberto said, walking slowly with his oxygen tank, I need to thank you. You don't need to thank me for anything, sir. Yes, I do. Roberto's voice was thick with emotion. 3 weeks ago, my granddaughter was starting to give up on her dreams. Tonight, I watched her learn that dreams are worth fighting for, no matter how hard it gets. Jordan's eyes filled with tears. Roberto, can I tell you something? Of course. Tonight wasn't about basketball. It was about showing Maya that her grandfather raised her right. You taught her to believe in herself. I just reminded her. The two men shook hands, the old soldier and the aging champion, both understanding that they had just witnessed something that would outlast any trophy or scoreboard. As Jordan finally left the gym, he carried with him something more valuable than any championship ring. The knowledge that he had helped a little girl believe in herself again. That was the real victory. That was the championship that mattered most. 6 months later, Maya Rodriguez dribbled the basketball with confidence down the court at Lincoln Elementary School. Her ponytail bounced as she ran, and her face showed the same determination that Michael Jordan had displayed that night at the Riverside Community Center. Pass it, Maya, called her teammate Jessica from across the court, but Maya saw an opening. She remembered what Mr. Jordan had taught her about confidence coming from believing in yourself. She drove toward the basket, made a perfect layup, and scored the winning points for her team. The small crowd of parents and students cheered loudly. Maya's mom was there, wearing a proud smile. But the seat next to her was empty now. Roberto Rodriguez had passed away peacefully in his sleep 3 months earlier. But not before seeing his granddaughter become the confident, brave girl he always knew she could be. After the game, Maya walked over to where her grandfather used to sit. She touched the empty chair gently. I did it, Grandpa, she whispered. Just like Mr. Jordan taught me. I got back up. Maya was no longer the scared little girl who let bullies crush her dreams. Tommy Chin still went to her school, but now he asked Maya to teach him basketball moves. She had become a leader, inspiring other girls to try out for the team. Her coach, Mrs. Patterson, approached her after the game. "Maya, you played beautifully. Today, your grandfather would be so proud." "He is proud," Maya said confidently. "I can feel it." Mrs. Patterson smiled. "I have some good news. There's someone here who wants to meet you." Maya looked confused until she saw a familiar figure walking across the gym. Her heart nearly stopped. Michael Jordan, walking with a slight limp but smiling widely, approached her with his arms open. "Maya," Jordan called out, "I told you I'd come watch you play, and Michael Jordan never breaks his promises." Maya ran into his arms, and Jordan hugged her tight. Despite the months that had passed, despite his arthritis and the pain in his knee, Jordan had kept his word. "Mr. Jordan, I can't believe you're really here. I've been following your games through your mom," Jordan said, kneeling down to Maya's level. "She tells me you've become quite the player." "I remember everything you taught me," Maya said excitedly. "About getting back up, about being confident, about never giving up on my dreams." Jordan's eyes filled with happy tears. "Your grandfather would be so proud of the young woman you're becoming." "I know. I think about him every day. And I think about that night when you showed me what real courage looks like." Across town, Jerome Harris was running his own basketball camp for kids. It was completely different from Tank Wellington's old camp. Jerome focused on teaching respect, teamwork, and the importance of character along with basketball skills. His camp had become the most popular in Chicago, not because Jerome promised to make kids into superstars, but because he taught them to be good people. "Remember," Jerome told a group of 10-year-olds, "basketball is just a game. But the lessons you learn from basketball, about working hard, about treating others with respect, about never giving up, those lessons will help you your whole life." A small boy raised his hand. "Coach Jerome, did you really play against Michael Jordan?" Jerome smiled. "I did, and it was the most important game I ever played, even though we won on the scoreboard." "Why was it so important if you won?" "Because I learned that there are different ways to win. Mr. Jordan taught me that the most important victories happen when you help someone else believe in themselves." The kids looked confused, so Jerome explained it differently. "Let me tell you a story about a little girl named Maya and how one night changed all of our lives." Meanwhile, Tank Wellington sat in a small office across town. His basketball camp had closed down 6 months ago when all his players quit and parents stopped bringing their children. He now worked as an assistant coach at a high school, and he was struggling to understand what had gone wrong. His boss, Coach Martinez, called him into the office. "Tank, I've been watching you work with our players. You're a good coach when you focus on teaching instead of trying to prove something." Tank looked surprised. "What do you mean?" "You know exactly what I mean. 6 months ago, you were famous. For a day, you beat Michael Jordan in a basketball game. But where did that fame get you?" Tank shifted uncomfortably. "I'm still a good coach." "Yes, you are. But being a good coach isn't about beating other people. It's about building them up. I think you learned that lesson the hard way." Coach Martinez leaned forward. "Tank, I heard what really happened that night. Not the final score, but what really happened. Are you ready to coach the right way now?" Tank thought about Jerome and his other former players. He thought about the little girl who had cheered for Jordan even when he was losing. He thought about the respect in people's eyes when they looked at Jordan and the disappointment in their eyes when they looked at him. "Yes," Tank said quietly. "I think I'm ready to learn how to really coach." Dr. Sarah Chun was in her office when she received a phone call that made her smile. "Dr. Chun, this is Michael Jordan. I wanted to thank you for everything you did that night." "Michael, how are you feeling? How's your knee?" "Better than I expected. The pain is manageable. But more importantly, I wanted you to know that I got a letter today from Maya Rodriguez's mother. Maya is thriving. She's confident, she's happy, and she's inspiring other kids." Dr. Chin smiled. "That's wonderful, Michael." "Sarah, I've been thinking. That night, I was so focused on protecting my body that I almost forgot why I was really there. You kept reminding me to be careful, but maybe the most dangerous thing I could have done was nothing at all." "What do you mean?" "If I had walked away from Tank's challenge, Maya would have learned that when things get tough, you quit. Instead, she learned that when things get tough, you find a way to keep fighting." Dr. Chin nodded, understanding. "So the injury risk was worth it? Every bruise, every ache, every moment of pain was worth seeing that little girl believe in herself." Again, as the sun set over Chicago that evening, Maya Rodriguez sat in her backyard, practicing her free throws on the old hoop her grandfather had put up for her. Each shot reminded her of that magical night 6 months ago. Her mother came outside and sat on the porch steps to watch. "Maya, Mr. Jordan called me today. He wanted to make sure you knew how proud he is of you." Maya paused her shooting and looked at her mom. "Mom, do you think Grandpa saw Mr. Jordan come to my game today?" Her mother smiled through tears. "I think your grandfather sees everything you do, sweetheart. And I think he's smiling every day, watching his granddaughter change the world one basketball game at a time." Maya picked up her basketball and made one more shot. As the ball swished through the net, she looked up at the darkening sky. "Thanks, Mr. Jordan," she whispered. "Thanks for teaching me that falling down doesn't make you weak. Getting back up makes you strong." Somewhere across the city, Michael Jordan was sitting in his home office, looking at the same photo of his teenage self that he had stared at before the challenge. But this time, he wasn't seeing a boy who got cut from his high school team. He was seeing a young man who learned that the greatest victories come not from what you achieve, but from what you help others believe about themselves. On his desk was a new photo, one that a reporter had taken at Maya's school game that day. It showed Jordan hugging Maya after her victory, both of them smiling with pure joy. Next to the photo was a handwritten note from Maya. "Dear Mr. Jordan, thank you for showing me that dreams don't have expiration dates. I'm going to keep getting back up, just like you taught me. Your friend forever, Maya Rodriguez. P.S. I'm going to teach other kids what you taught me." That's how legends never really retire. Jordan smiled as he read the note for the 100th time. Maya was right. Legends never really retire. They just find new ways to inspire the next generation. The scoreboard from that night had been forgotten. The final score didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that a little girl had learned to believe in herself, and that belief was spreading to other children every day. That was Michael Jordan's greatest championship. Not the 6 NBA titles, not the 5 MVP awards, but the night. He helped a scared 8-year-old girl discover her courage. Some victories last forever because they live in the hearts of the people they touch, and this victory would keep growing, one dream at a time, for generations to come. Maya learned that dreams don't have expiration dates, and sometimes the greatest victories happen when we help others believe in themselves. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city in the comments below. I love connecting with viewers from around the world. If this story touched your heart like it touched mine, please hit that like button to spread some kindness. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss these inspiring stories that remind us what really matters in life. Speaking of inspiration, I've got another incredible story waiting for you right on your screen. Click it now. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. Until next time, remember, it's never too late to chase your dreams, and it's never too small an act to change someone's life. Keep inspiring others.